Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We continue with our recap of matchday 1 of the UEFA Champions League. In one of SportsMax's 3 feature matches on Day 2, Club Brugge against the odds held the title contenders Paris Saint-Germain to a 1-1 draw at the Jan Pradel Stadium. We have the highlights.
L'Equipe, the French sports daily, says they're natural favourites this time to win the Champions League and that the hunt is on. 20-year-old De Ketelaere involved plenty for Brugge. Here's Mbappe. There's a swivel of the hips to get away from Mata, and there's the finish from Ander Herrera.
Watch him here, one-on-one. He's so dangerous in this situation. Looks like he's going to cross it with his right foot, then gone. He's gone down the line. Then he picks his head up, and that's perfect. That's
only his 6th appearance for Club Brugge. He was signed from Nice in the summer. Spent 2 years down on the French Riviera, having joined from PSG. That's Sobel's ball in. There's Van Aken! And it's 1-1.
Just drifts towards the edge of the box. Now sees there might be something for him. It's so inviting. I think it's deflected off of Kimpembe in the end, who's laying on the floor almost. Tries to block it. And Paris had the chance to counter and get that ball in the box.
Hakimi's throw. Listen to the roar around the Jan Pradel Stadium in Brugge. Those home supporters might not have seen their team win the game, but what a game they've enjoyed because of the way that their team has played against the mega stars of Paris.
Well, not the scoreline expected, but the ball is round, as they say, and the game is not played on paper. Well, former Trinidad and Tobago international Brent Sancho joins us now to recap the match and discuss other results from the match day. Brent, of course, exciting results in that match day. What stood out for you the most?
I think the City Goal Fest was the one that stood out, obviously. Some surprising results. The one you just showed, PSG, of course, already crowned champions on paper, that is. And, you know, there's a lot of feeling in the air that they might be the ones to walk away with the Champions League trophy. But, Ryan, you know, looking at the results over the past 2 days, you have to reflect as a football fan with all the conversation about this European Super League and how important it is for all these big clubs to play against each other because it'd be exciting football. But I think not as exciting in football as seeing an underdog like Club Brugge put in the kind of performance that they did today, and of course what young boys did yesterday against Manchester United, and that is the spirit of the sport. Right,
and Brent, we can't forget the fact that this was Messi's first game with PSG. How did he get on? A bit quiet, yeah?
It's quiet. I think they're still getting comfortable in their skin. The front three, of course, of Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi, and it will take a little bit of time. Remember, the Champions League is not won in September, October. It's how you do throughout the season. I think more importantly, what you do in crunch time. Without a doubt, I believe, of course, PSG will be in the knockout stages, and if the front three is sticking at that time, it'd be very, very difficult to stop PSG, and rightfully so. I think they are the favourites.
And at one point, did you get the sense that PSG was struggling to, of course, get on with how the home side was pressing?
Yeah, they did struggle, and a credit to Club Brugge. I think they were outstanding today, very similar to young boys, high press, high energy. The fans, of course, being an important factor in the game as well. Everything, every part of the romance that is Champions League football that we love to watch was there today. And I think Club Brugge might even feel a bit short done here, and that they didn't walk away with 3 points. It was a brilliant performance, and they were thoroughly good value for money.
Yeah, Club Brugge really played very well today, Brent. But talk to me about your thoughts on the role that Messi played today, because we know that his familiar territory, Barcelona, he pretty much bosses the environment because over 2 decades of playing there, you understand his comfort level there. But there's a lot of anticipation about how he fits into PSG, the role he would play, which parts of the field he would be most expected to occupy. Can you assess for me your thoughts on what happened today with him?
I think it's not so much about Messi, Lance. I think it's about the other two around him and what Neymar and Mbappe do. and if they're going to allow Messi to play his natural game. And I think that was one of the concerns for me with Messi coming into it. Of course, again, a situation where you felt that Messi coming into two talented individuals up front will enhance, would make things better, would make it a very special situation. But like any sport in the world, it really depends on how the supporting cast, and if they do decide to be a supporting cast, do with Messi. Or if Messi decides to be the supporting cast, and I would feel that is not the way to go, because Messi is undoubtedly the most talented footballer on that team. So the likes of Neymar and Mbappe would have to find lesser roles, more supporting role, understand spacing, understand where Messi needs to be impactful on the team. And I think they haven't figured out that quite yet. It's going to take some time, and it's also going to take some ego checking by Neymar and Mbappe for Messi to start to, of course, show his true worth.
Yeah, you know, we know that he's a prolific goal scorer, Lionel Messi, Brent, but I am hugely impressed and have been a long admirer of his passing ability. So his going to PSG, for me, my mouth waters at the prospects of him playing these inch-perfect passes forward for Neymar and Mbappe, especially with Mbappe's pace and so on. As a provider, did you see a lot of that today? And as far as you're discussing with his role, do you anticipate that he would be comfortable doing that? We know he wants to score because he naturally is a goal scorer as well, but you know his passing skills are you know, he's very adept at that, and I think that's an area that if he emphasizes that, they could benefit PSG from that.
Yeah, they can, and remember in Barcelona he had people that could move well off the football, and I think again I go back to the likes of Neymar and Mbappe. It's so important for those two players to understand the movement, the type of things that they have to do, of course, to get themselves on the football from a delicate, messy pass. And as you know, Lance, at the end of the day, Neymar is the type of player that likes having the ball at his feet to take players on, and Mbappe relies heavily on his speed. Now, they're going to have to, of course, alter the way they play and focus a lot more on movement of the ball. And as I said, this is all part of the adjustment phase that has to happen if Messi's true value and true worth is to be realized at PSG.
Yeah, and let's take a look now at how Borussia Dortmund got on against Besiktas.
It all starts here as the game begins with, in those yellow shirts, Borussia Dortmund. Here's Batshuayi. Batshuayi's shot, fabulous save. Gregor Kobel. Reactions were absolutely razor sharp here, and my word, they had to be. It's a lovely ball in to find Batshuayi here. The touch was delicious, the shot was powerful, the save was excellent. Gregor Kobel, one-handed, wonderful. Mahmoud Dahoud. Thomas Meunier pushed on here for Daniel. Oh, the chance taken. And Jude Bellingham has it. Well, he scored in the quarter-final against England's Manchester City back in the spring. And on match day one of the group stage here, Jude Bellingham takes that wonderfully. Made here by Thomas Meunier. And Bellingham's finish through the goalkeeper Ersin Destanoğlu was absolutely perfect. He's only 18. You'd not know it. Nothing phases Jude Bellingham. And he scores Dortmund's first goal of this season's Champions League. Jude Bellingham away from one. It's Bellingham across. Of course, Erling Haaland. At age 21, 21 Champions League goals. A young man who relishes this competition like no other. Made by Bellingham, who scored the first, and Haaland on the mark. For club and country already, this goal number 14 this season. Who can contain, who can stop Erling Haaland? Answer, frankly, right now, nobody. Right place, right time, lethal. Pjanic, focus fixed on the job in hand here. In by Pjanic. Oh, they have got a goal back. Montero's header. And to save this, Besiktas have around 4 more minutes. Back in the contest, made by Pjanic and tucked away by Francisco Montero. The set-piece service from Pjanic was absolutely perfect. And the header thundered in here by Montero. The full-time score here, Besiktas 1, Borussia Dortmund 2.
Borussia Dortmund coming away with that win against Besiktas. Brent is still with us, and Brent, I think it's only fitting that we start by talking about the English teenager, of course, scoring the first goal for Borussia Dortmund and involved in the second.
Right, you know, I saw him play live about 2 weeks ago in Wembley when England took on Andorra. And I sat in an area where the likes of Emil Heskey and others were sitting, and I made a statement that raised a lot of eyebrows in that stadium. I said that I think that Jude Bellingham would probably be one of the best English midfielders to ever play the game. A lot of them were surprised. I even pointed out that I think he'll be a better player than Steven Gerrard. What I saw from the young man is an almost finished article. And you don't say that a lot about young players and people of that age, of course, when they're now starting to get into the groove of being a professional athlete or professional footballer. And it's just incredible, the skill sets that he comes with. He's just a phenomenal player, wise beyond his years, his touch, his vision, the way he looks at a football game, the way he approaches a football game, his mindset. I mean, I can go on and on. I was just overly impressed by him, and I truly think that he is going to be a big, big superstar.
And of course, Erling Haaland, his 21st goal in 17 Champions League matches, on target again, and of course helping his side get across the line.
You know, we talk a lot about Cristiano Ronaldo and this how well a finisher he is and how much he's improved his game on that side of it. Ronaldo, of course, changing from being a tricky winger to being an out-and-out finisher. I would go as far as to say that I think Haaland and Ronaldo, and obviously Lewandowski would be up there as well, the 3 best finishers in world football right now. And, you know, when Man City was pursuing Harry Kane, I just couldn't understand why they didn't go after that man. Because to me, you will struggle to find an out-and-out pure finisher like that gentleman. And I think what he brings to Dortmund, both him and Bellingham, they are 2 players and any given day can take over a football match. And that Besiktas team was a very talented team, and they made it look quite easy for most of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, Haaland has been a target certainly in the media landscape for so many top clubs in the world. And the fact that he is still with Borussia Dortmund, I would suspect, Brent, that their fans may be hoping that they can go deep into this championship with that sort of firepower at the top of their attack. They haven't been deep into the championship for almost 10 years now. Remember, they were beaten finalists 2012, 2013. Jurgen Klopp took them to the final when Bayern Munich beat them. But with this sort of firepower, and if Bellingham is as good as you think he is, maybe they could go deep into the championship this year.
I think they can. I think they certainly could put a run together. Obviously, as we reported last season when we covered the Champions League here in SportsMax, their biggest problem and their Achilles heel has always been defensively. We saw it last year. They leaked a lot of goals. And if they are to sort that aspect out, Lance, I think they could make a run, because what you have, as I said, with both Bellingham and Haaland is pure stars. The stars of a football game can take over a football game at a minute's notice and can win you a football game. And if you have those sorts of players within your squad, within your roster, you give yourself every opportunity to make a deep run in this competition.
Yeah, still to come on the SportsMax Zone, we discuss how WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, wants to review cannabis as a drug on the banned list. We still have our CPL finals discussion, but more UEFA Champions League discussions to come. You will love Red, you will love our next segment. Back on the SportsMax Zone, full results of the opening week of UEFA Champions League matches. Borussia Dortmund 2-1 over Besiktas. Sheriff, they were 2-0 winners over Shakhtar Donetsk. No goals between FC Porto and Atletico Madrid. Club Brugge 1-1 with PSG. Inter beaten at home 1-0 by Real Madrid. Liverpool 3-2 over AC Milan. Manchester City, we saw those highlights, 6-3 over RB Leipzig. And Ajax, they were 5-1 winners over Sporting. So lots of goals today in some of the key matches. We're going to be looking shortly at that Liverpool results. 5 goals there in their win over AC Milan, who stretched them a bit. But Liverpool coming up with a good victory, so the Liverpool fans would be happy that the champions of 2 seasons ago have started their campaign on a winning note, Moran.
Yeah, and what I admire about Liverpool today is that they were able to come from behind. You know, they showed that they had fight because AC Milan was roaring and ready to go, Lance. And I felt as if Liverpool just slipped up, the match would have been taken away from them. What we do know is Jurgen Klopp, he knows how to, maneuver his team and fix the missing parts to ensure that they overcome the opponents, and that's exactly what they did today. However, what I noticed from this team is that if Virgil van Dijk is missing for a game, if he goes missing, Lance, Liverpool will be in utter trouble. You didn't get that sense? No Virgil van Dijk, big problems.
Yeah, well, they struggled without him last year, even though they,
That was their downfall. No Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, for the most part, but they ended up the season very well without him. So, but you're right. He's certainly a tower strength in their defense. Let's get Brent back in now to continue our discussions on the UEFA Champions League today. And Brent, Liverpool stretched today by AC Milan, who didn't have Zlatan in their lineup because he is injured. But a win is a win, and I guess the Reds fans would be happy.
Yeah, they would be happy. We talked about the electric atmosphere that we would have seen in Anfield. It certainly was that, and they will certainly stretch. I was a bit surprised, Lance, by the AC Milan performance. They've been up and down so far in Serie A. No doubt about the talent that they have within their squad and some experience. You talk about Zlatan, of course, Olivier Giroud would also add to that as well. But it was a very good game of football at Anfield, and I tell you what, AC Milan gave as good as they got. At the end of the day, I think the firepower and more importantly, the finishing power of the Reds of Liverpool was the difference in today's game.
Of course, he's very smart because he wants to ensure that he manages Virgil van Dijk and the injury, because we saw how they suffered without him last season.
Yeah, I had a knee injury during my career, actually, when I was in college, and you really have to manage those things because as much as you can do rehab and those types of things to get yourself back into a playing position, I tell you what, you're still very mentally, you think about it, and then of course you still feel like one turn or twist, and you can be right back in the position that you were in before. So he's right to manage him and to make sure that he gets back. And of course, from a playing perspective as well, he has to get himself back on his feet. And Van Dijk is way too important piece of the clog for Johan Klopp for him to gamble with.
Yeah, Brent, no team has won the UEFA Champions League in the past 10 years more often than Real Madrid has. They needed an 89th minute strike from Rodrigo, though, to get the 3 points from Inter today.
Yeah, and you know, he questioned a lot Real Madrid and Barcelona and whether or not they would do well in La Liga because, of course, they're in transition in, young players coming through. Vinicius Jr., of course, Rodrigo, as you mentioned, and whether or not these kids are ready to take the mantle of Real Madrid to the heights that they're accustomed to. And so far, in a couple of games in this season, both in La Liga and, of course, now in the Champions League, I tell you what, Lance, they're answering the question and they're answering positively. They're getting performances, they're getting results. And the young men of Real Madrid, and they're showing up and they're here to play. And you have to wonder whether or not they could take it that far. Of course, football sense would tell you that young players are inconsistent, and as things go along, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to run out of energy, not energy, but they're going to run out, of course, of form, and they're going to dip in form. That's just what happens with young players. But so far, so good for the Real Madrid younger players.
Yeah, as a big Juventus fan, Brent, I know you're very knowledgeable about Serie A. The San Siro silence today, Inter losing in the death, you could call it. How damaging would that be to Inter, the reigning Serie A champions, in their home loss?
Yeah, look, I think since, and you know, I would be the one to say it's quite early, since Lukaku is gone, that little bit of bite and edge that, of course, we're used to from Inter Milan seemed to have dipped a bit. I may even add Hakimi in that as well, of course, his move to PSG, the right back. They just don't seem to have the same kind of umph that they had last season, albeit, of course, they had a tiger on the sidelines in Conte. But that same bite lance that we saw last season from Inter Milan, it seems to be missing there a little bit. Again, I hate to make these kind of pronouncements because it's so early in the season, things can't turn around for them. But certainly something is lacking from what we saw in their championship season.
Yeah, Brent, always great talking to you on the SportsMax Zone. We'll be in touch. Lots of football still to come.
Certainly, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, and of course the UEFA Champions League will be continuing with Matchday 2 on the 28th and 29th of September. And all the action is on the home of champions, SportsMax and SportsMax 2. We go to break. Still a lot more to come on the SportsMax Zone.